Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're the Hatch Homes Group. And before we actually get into our market update today, we wanted to just remind you to like and subscribe if you are enjoying what you are seeing. And you can also click on the link to get our market updates directly to your inbox every week. So today we are going to talk about why you shouldn't sell unless you want to take advantage of one of the best once in a lifetime opportunities for sellers. And we got three things that we're really going to dive deep into about why you should just think about it. Just consider it. Don't miss out on an opportunity.
The first thing is demand. And the National Association of Realtors has actually said that in 2021, 6.18 million homes were sold. And that is the most sold in 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the reasons for that is changes in population, demographics. We've seen some interesting changes with the pandemic, but that aside, we've got a lot of millennials coming into the market, and we've got baby boomers like myself who are moving maybe into our last home. It's interesting, like a few years ago, it was a trend to downsize and move into the city, get a condo, we saw a lot of that. Now we've seen more people go to rural areas. Actually, like us, we got a bigger home. And people going to the beach, people going to Arizona or Palm Springs and different locations because they're not restricted by where they have to work. So
and that's the same with millennials, right? Like that's such a big population that's looking for new homes.
Yeah. And if you think about people doing second homes, that just is another layer of demand, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the next thing is interest rates. We have seen a 40-year high in inflation, and the Feds have to get that under control. And previously, we've predicted interest rates during this year, but increases during this year. But now there's more and more thought that they're going to rise maybe 2% during the year. So significant, people are talking about that. Yeah. We'll have to see what the incremental changes, what that effect has, but we are seeing more significant interest rates. So therefore people are getting into homes, and there's some urgency to get into a home at the good interest rates while they last. Next month, we'll see the Fed's meeting and deciding on the first interest rate hike, and it is going to go up. It will go up 0.25% at least, and more people now thinking 0.5%. And we're looking at maybe 4 or more rises during the year, depending on how effective that hike is. Thing to note, though, with interest rates, the first hike next month is already built in. We've seen 1% significant just in the last 60 days. So that's already built into the mortgage rates, because the Fed's interest rates is all about what the banks charge each other when they transfer money. And whereas the mortgage rates are more in demand.
They've already gone up.
Yeah. But I do think it's also important to point out that even though they're going up, they're still historically low. So we have to remember that. Like Angela shared before, that when she bought her first home, the interest rates were like 6.25. So don't let that scare you into thinking that it's not affordable. And that goes into another reason for the high demand in purchasing homes is the rental rates. Just in Portland alone, rent rates have gone up 10% just in 2021. That's quite significant. And it's really driving the affordability factor. And also, with the low supply in housing overall, it's hard to find a rental as well.
It is. I see people email in and they'll ask like, hey, I got a client looking for a rental. They're willing to pay up to $3,500. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money.
$3,500. If you're willing to pay that for rent, you can have a mortgage. Even if you have no down payment, that could be a significant thing for you, because you have, not only do you have the benefits of being able to write off the interest in for tax benefits and your built-in savings plan, you're building your nest egg. You're actually doing something for yourself rather than just giving up to $3,000 to someone else. So I think that is important to think about when you're looking at the amount of money that you spend on rent versus buying. And we'll have a future video on that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So the second point would be the supply. And the same group, the National Association of Realtors, also released that inventory has hit the lowest it has ever in the last century. And what do we know about supply? Supply and demand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The demand is high because the supply is low. I never knew so much about economics until I became a realtor, honestly. It's amazing. But also, I think another factor of why the supply is limited is because of what we've been through the past 2 years with COVID, people being locked down, feeling like making a lot of fear-based decisions. And I think a lot of people are holding off on that because they're in their safe space right now. So why move? Just stay put. However, there's so many good opportunities out there to take advantage of this time and really reevaluate. I mean, everybody's been reevaluating their lifestyle, and home is a big factor in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see a change in that, with mask mandate being lifted, things like,
Starting to feel like we're going back to, I prefer to say we're going back to a new kind of normal.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, supply is also limited because there's a lot of sellers out there that need to buy a house before they sell. So we've had this conundrum for years now, like, well, I'd put my house on the market, but there's nothing to buy. And so there's all this it's halting inventory because they're not putting their house on the market. So what we saw in the past year is that sellers just started to take the leap of faith, put their home on the market, and trust that they will find another house, because homes are coming up. They just have to be prepared to jump on them. So we just did a video on it last week if you really want to dive deep on how we make that happen for our sellers. But that really limits the supply when sellers feel like, I would sell, but I don't have a place to go. So there is a solution to that. It's a thing that we're working through.
Yeah.
You want to be part of the solution, right? That's part of it. Like, we can help you be part of the solution
And get you a new house that you want.
Yeah.
Another limit to supply is new construction. We've got a chronic shortage of homes being built, and there's a couple of factors there. One is the permitting process, and the whole process from vision to being complete is a long period of time, and also more and more expensive. And also, as well as the permitting process, we have had a change in trends, like builders were preferring to build higher end homes because of more profit and stuff and the number of factors. But the real desperate shortage is of more smaller, more affordable homes. But that is happening, but not nearly fast enough for the demand.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been seeing lately, single family lots where they're now with the infill in Portland, they're putting 4 houses on the small lot. So it's tinier houses. And I know some people get really upset by that, but that is actually we really need that type of infill right now to get people that can't afford the luxury $800 million
Really
home.
good point. Really
100 million.
100 million. So new construction is a thing. So when a lot of people say, oh, it's going to crash, well, we need the supply. So that's another topic, but I'm just saying.
Other thing to unbox.
So the last point we would make is sellers have maximum leverage. You have so much leverage right now as a seller. And us working with a lot of buyers over the years and a lot of sellers, we really know how to maximize all the points along the way to maximize your leverage.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're a seller in this market, you put your home on and you're likely going to get multiple offers and they're going to be really competitive, and you're going to have maybe some conundrums there of how do you decide which one, because sometimes the sales price, I mean, it's going to be competitive and people are going to probably offer over asking, and you're going to have a tough choice choosing that side. But also there's like flexible closing dates that you can leverage. Like if you have to move out of this house and purchase, sell that house to purchase the next one, we can be flexible on those closing dates, or even negotiate a potential rent back so you can stay in the house a little bit longer after it's sold to give you that nice transition. And then also, there's other contingencies in an offer that buyers are waiving. And as a seller, when you call us to meet with us and we sit down with you to talk about your strategy, we'll really dive deep into what you really want out of the sale. And maybe it's not just the price, maybe it's some other things that we can talk about and really leverage when it comes to accepting an offer.
Yeah. And like also the caveat to that too, is that like, there's a lot of sellers that aren't getting multiple offers, but it's because not every time, I'll be careful here, but there's a lot of people that think they just need to put a sign in front, and buyers will just be like lining up and giving them the best offer. And obviously we know that's not the case. Strategy is important.
Strategy is important. So remember to reach out to us, call us, text us, like, subscribe.
You stole my line.
Oh.
It's okay.
And we all know that markets like these do not last forever. Our market is fluid. It changes a lot. Like obviously what's going to happen with the interest rates, there's going to be high demand right now. When will that show up in balancing out the market? So reach out to us.
Yeah, we can all be part of the solution.
Opportunity. Don't sell your house unless you want to miss out on this once in a lifetime opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much.